Well, hello, everyone, and welcome again to the podcast. And I'm really pleased and happy to have Wendy Pitts Reeves on the show today with me. And Wendy is no stranger to podcasting, and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more about her podcast. But I was on episode 160 of her podcast. So, Wendy, as I start with everyone, tell folks a little more about yourself and how you've landed where you've landed.
Thank you, Gordon. What a treat it is to be here with you. I really like us meeting like this frequently. This is a good idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I've been in private practice for, 100 years or so, it seems like at this point. And I have a podcast called Ideal Practice, which you were kind enough to join me for a few weeks ago. I've been running that podcast now for 3.5 years or so with weekly episodes, just like you, trying to do my best to encourage and inspire folks out there who are either starting a private practice or have been in it for a while and have either kind of lost a little bit of the excitement, or like they're doing fine, but they know they could do better. I want to do whatever I can to kind of help them raise the bar a little bit and have more fun with what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know one of the things that you and I have in common, we're both in Tennessee and not too far from each other, but
Go Vols.
Go Vols. Yeah. As we're recording this, they play Kentucky tomorrow. So I'm going to be having some friends over for that. So but, I digress. But Wendy, I know one of the things that you and I both are passionate about, and that is just helping people get started in private practice. And really, as I like to say about myself, I've learned a lot of stuff the hard way, and I don't like other people to do the same. But you've developed the seven pillars, and just really kind of the basics, most essential things about starting a practice that you wish everybody knew. And
Yeah.
all that stuff that you help them with. So let's jump into that and just go for it.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. I've been coaching. I started, grew, and ran a group practice in Maryville, Tennessee, which we pronounce Maryville, just outside of Knoxville near the Smokies, and ran that practice for 25 or so years. And unofficially, I had been coaching all along, teaching people how to get their practice started when they joined my group. And when I began coaching officially, and I was thinking, like, what is it exactly that has made this work? Because our practice was the go-to practice in our town for all of that period of time. And what I eventually kind of settled on was that there's no one thing that's going to make your practice work. You really need to manage several bits of it well. And what it all kind of settles into for me, when I really, really thought about what had brought my success and those of so many people I've worked with, is that there are 7 key areas that I feel like you need to nail, not all at once and over in different ways through the course of your practice, but you're going to be bumping into these one way or another. And so I thought what I would do today is just give you an introduction to that concept.
Right.
So does that sound good? Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So those 7 pillars, I'll say them first, and then I'm going to tell you essentially what each of them means, because it's not always as obvious as you think. They are, number 1 is purpose. Number 2 are the people. Number 3 is the product that you serve. Number 4, process. Number 5, payment. That's a fun one. Number 6, promotion. And number 7, perspective. And let me tell you what I mean by each one of those. And Gordon, you just interrupt me if you want to ask a question or share some thoughts about one of these. So I start with purpose for a reason. This is because when you tap into your why you started a business at all, that's going to help pull you through the tough times, which you are going to have. And when this is nailed down and you are super crystal clear about what your purpose is, you will be able to say that you know why you do what you do, and you have a potent and powerful vision for the business that you are building. When you don't have that, you will find yourself a little detached or confused or sort of scrambled, sort of all over the place, as opposed to feeling energized and excited. And I don't just mean about the people you're serving. I also mean about, why do you want to be a business owner at all? Because that's important. This is not for the faint of heart. That's the first one. We start with our why. Number 2, people. And that is, I want you to serve the people that you love. Okay? Period. Just serve the ones you love. When you've got this nailed down, you will know your ideal client in and out. You will know them better than they know themselves. You'll know what drives them. you'll know what worries them, and you will know how to serve them. And this is important because often we know what our clients need more than they do, but how to sort of cross that gap from what they think they need to what we know they need, that takes skill, right?
Right.
And
Right.
and when you are working with your client that you absolutely like, you wake up in the morning and you look at your calendar for the day and you're like, oh yay, I get to see them today. It's the best feeling in the world. And when you've got this figured out, you are going to go from, you'll move away from being sort of anxious, like, oh no, can I work with this person? Do I know what I'm doing here? To excited about the person in the waiting room that you're going out to say hi to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
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 I love this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The third pillar that we no one talks about, which I'm using the word product. Now, in our world, we tend to think our product is us, right? The service that we provide. But essentially what I want you to do is I want you to do you. And that means think of creative ways that you can serve your people at deeper, richer, wider levels. And there's so many ways to do this. When you've got this figured out, or you are sort of tweaking it over time, you will have an irresistible offer that provides your clients with the resources they need to get the results they most want
Yes.
through a service that it just works. It just works.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
It's really about communicating the transformation that people can go through.
Yes, and there's lots of ways to deliver that other than sitting in a room for an hour a week and talking.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've got all kinds of examples of that, I know.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Yeah. So,
The fourth pillar, and we can go back through any of these, but I use the word process, and that is basically your systems. How do you run what you run? How do you do what you do? I'm always saying there's a system for that because I sort of think that way. I have a very strong one wing on the Enneagram. When you run a business, guys, like you will find yourself sort of creating things over and over and over. And in the beginning, you sort of scramble to figure out how to do what you're doing. But as your practice matures, what I want to see over time is I want you to develop habits, systems, and boundaries that make life easier for your team, if you have a team, for yourself as a business owner, and for your clients. And when you do that and as that improves and matures over time, you will find that your practice is more profitable because you're not wasting as much time and energy and resources reinventing the wheel, and it's more enjoyable. You won't be exhausted all the time. You'll be more organized. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's an important piece, I think, for, like you said, in the very beginning, to really be clear on, okay, what's the client's journey through your practice,
Yes.
and also,
Yes.
how you're collecting the money, which I know you're going to get to that, but just all of those things.
Your client's journey is so important. That is a great way to sort of organize your systems. Like how do they find out about you in the beginning? Once they reach out for an inquiry, how do you process that? Once you get them in the door, how do you onboard them as a client? During the work itself, how do you stay in touch with them? How do you maintain it? And when it comes time to wrap up, how do you do that? And if you do this over and over and over with hundreds of clients, thousands over the years, the more systematic you can make that, the easier everything is for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I tend to harp on that a little.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. I do too. Yeah. So.
Is there anything you want to say about any of the rest of those before I go on? Keep going.
Yeah, just keep going.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
good.
I don't want to go too fast. The fifth pillar, and y'all, I have arranged all of these in this order on purpose because I kind of think you need to get one of these fixed before you do the next, and one of these before, like they build on each other.
Right. Right.
So the fifth, which is a lot of it, this is where we tend to start, but I really think you need to get the other stuff figured out first. But that is payment or profit, if you like that word.
Right.
And
right.
essentially, like you have to do well to do any good at all. So when your payment systems, and I mean all the things around that, your policies, your pricing, all of that, when that is tight and effective, you will have a healthy pricing structure and a payment system that accurately reflects, this is important, the value of what you do, the results that you deliver. It's easy for your clients to manage, and it will bring you the desired salary. You do have a salary you want, right? You
Right.
do have a
Yeah.
salary.
Yes. Yes. Uh-huh.
So when you do this well, like the money will be there and it comes in a way that works for your clients as well as you. Like there's no angst about it. We're all on board. We're all in agreement. The energy works because it
Mhm.
is comes from a place of integrity and alignment,
Mhm.
and it builds on the other things I've already said: your purpose, who you serve, how you
Right.
do it. Yeah,
Right. And we could, and I know we talked about this before we started recording, but
yeah.
we could go down a whole rabbit trail about money mindset and some of the things that I know therapists in particular struggle with, but that's for another time. So, but
It
yeah,
is. I
yeah,
really
yeah,
could talk about that all day. I harp on that a
yeah.
lot on Ideal
All right.
Practice. And I do have a little offer for your listeners today, Gordon, that might can help them with that if they're interested.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
you're right, the mindset is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And when I have taught about this in my own masterminds and courses, I will teach people the strategies behind it. But it's funny that in the end isn't really what matters. It is the mindset and the way you think about all of this that is more important than anything. So
Right. Right.
the sixth pillar of these seven is promotion,
Mm-hmm.
because your people need you. And if they don't know you exist and they don't know how to find you, they're not going to be able to get the help that they need. So you have
Mm-hmm.
to find a way to get yourself out there. When you do this well, you will have a clear and compelling brand message, which I know is not something we talk about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You will have identified specific marketing strategies that work for you, not 15 of them, one or two that really kind of work with who you are.
Mm-hmm.
They will be online and in real life. Okay. And they will be strategies that work with your particular strengths. And you are doing them. You are like implementing them. You're not sitting behind your desk waiting for the phone to ring or for someone to knock on your door. Right.
Right. Right.
So, promotion, like it or not, and if you don't learn how to find your way into this and get comfortable with this, the people you can really help are never going to find you, and that's sad for everybody. So,
Right, right. It's I'm always reminded of the movie Field of Dreams. Build it and
yeah,
they will come, but you have to build it and then tell them about it. Then they will come.
and you
So
know
that's
this.
it. Yeah.
There's a thousand therapists in Knoxville, right? Like, how
Hmm.
do you? If someone's looking for you, how do they know you sound just like everybody else? How do I know who to
Hmm.
call? Right.
Right.
So
Right.
it
Yeah.
really is
And
important.
I will say for folks that might not be familiar with this, really one of my go-to strategies around all of this or a framework really is the story brand
Yep.
framework by Donald Miller.
Yep.
And you can look it up and it's the story brand. He's got a book, Story Brand Marketing. And yeah, it's a good way to think about it. And I think I think for us that don't like the hard sell kind of stuff,
Yes.
really thinking about his framework really helps with that.
And he's another Tennessee guy. I think he lives in
Yes, he
Nashville
is. He's
now.
in
Yeah.
Nashville. Yes, he is.
Everybody's moving to Nashville.
Yeah.
That's such a great point, Gordon. I actually had someone on my show recently that our whole conversation was about how to use story. And we actually
Mhm.
did not reference him, but you're right, that is a really good resource.
Right.
And even
Right.
your personal story done well and done
Mhm.
appropriately can really help connect with your ideal clients.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So that's huge and
Yeah.
important. And then the last pillar that it wraps all of it, the cherry on top, is your perspective. And by that, I mean your mindset, because you can do all the right strategies and all the right tactics in the world. But if your mindset is wonky, you will self sabotage every time. Every
Hmm.
time.
Hmm.
So when you are owning this and you are stepping into this fully with your own power, you will have this healthy abundance mindset, a success oriented perspective, and
Hmm.
you will move through your business being at cause. I used to have a coach
Hmm.
who talked about being at cause. That means that you are claiming that your power to be the creator of your own life and your business, which means if it's going great, it's because you're doing something great. And if it's not
Hmm.
going great, it's because you've got an opportunity to fix something, but
Right.
you are at cause. Matt, that's all of it comes down to that. So there
Sure.
you go.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are great. I really love the way that you've kind of put that into almost like steps, but really just kind of a good framework to think about the different elements of running a private practice.
Yep.
One thing I would say, Wendy, and I'm sure you address this under kind of the money pillar or whatever payment pillar, but
Yeah.
in addition to paying yourself, is creating a safety net for yourself
Yes.
in terms of having money in reserve for those times when your client load might go down or things might happen. I was talking with someone earlier today, for those of us that are in the have insurance-based practices, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a whole other decision people need to make, is whether they want to accept insurance or not.
Yep.
There's no right answer to that, and it depends on a lot of different things. But back when the Change Healthcare thing happened with the clearinghouses, those of us that are
Oh yeah.
insurance based
Yeah.
really took a big hit and really struggled during those periods. And the way my practice made it through was the fact that I had money in reserve, had
You are
enough money
really good
there
at
to,
that.
yeah. And so
Yeah.
I think that's something to just have in mind, and really think also just, all of these things don't have to be done all at once.
Absolutely.
And so just thinking about doing it in small bites, and just
Yeah.
one builds on the other. And as you grow, things are gonna change, and you're gonna, the processes will change, and all of those things.
When we learn as we go, right? And we mostly learn when things go wrong. We figure stuff out, right?
Right.
You and I both have been at this for a while. And when you came on my program and you were telling your backstory, like I was really impressed with the way you did that in terms of setting money aside to have that safety net. You did better than I'm used to hearing, actually. I wish I had
Right.
known that when I
Right.
started my practice. What I see as a coach all the time is people will tell me, "Oh, I've got great pricing and I'm fine with money. I'm good with it." And then when I start really digging in, like, so really, so tell me, like, how many clients do you have at what rate, and how many, and even if you've got an insurance-based practice, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And what I find is that their pricing is all over the map, and that the energy that they approach it is so uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, money is a therapeutic issue every bit as much as anything else we talk about in the therapy world, right?
Right.
And
Right.
because we are either underpricing
Mm-hmm.
and feeling guilty, or we're fine, our pricing is good, but we are apologetic when we talk about it, like, oh, I'm so sorry, but my rates are this,
Yeah.
which is completely undermining and undervaluing the importance of the
Right.
work that that client is doing.
Yeah.
Or we avoid the hard conversations, like they
Mm-hmm.
owe you and they haven't paid, which is making my discomfort their discomfort, because I guarantee you
Right.
they're thinking about it.
Yeah.
So learning how to bring that into the room, just like you do anything else in that relationship, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the hardest things for people to learn, and one of the
Right.
most important.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And the truth is that the majority of our clients want to pay us.
Yes.
Yeah. And kind of to your point, Wendy, I think it's important to recognize your value, and the fact that
Yes.
you're offering something that in many cases is unique, but also people are struggling, and they're willing to pay for that, to get the help that they need. And
Yep.
it's an expectation. I don't go to my doctor without expecting to pay them in some form or fashion, either through
Right.
my insurance or
Right.
whatever, and also pay them on the front end. They want to
Yes.
know where their money's coming from before even walk in the office. So I mean, it's so people are used to that, and I don't think we need to put a lot of judgment on that.
Absolutely not. I actually think it's something to celebrate,
Hmm.
because when a client chooses to come to you and to invest in themselves and the results of their work with you, they're not only saying they trust you or they're willing to put their trust in you, but they're also honoring themselves
Hmm.
and the need that they have. They don't always see it that way, but I look at, like, yay for you. Look at what you're doing for yourself. That's
Right.
fantastic.
Right.
So
Right.
let's just claim that and
Mhm.
not shrink from it, because it
Right.
really is, it's kind of amazing
Yeah.
and worth celebrating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've kind of talked around this a little bit, but which pillar do you think most people struggle with? Would you
That
say it's
one.
the money?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very much so, because I see people who are great at coming up with ideas about how to serve their clients, and all of it is, I've seen people get fuzzy about all of it. Like in terms of process, that's like boundaries around your time, how you
Mhm.
manage phone calls, how you manage the administrative side of your business. I've coached people who were seeing clients at 8 o'clock in the morning and 9 o'clock at night and on Sunday afternoons, and like all over the place. I've worked with people who were charging one client $50, somebody else 85, somebody else 150, somebody else 200. It's crazy and scattered. So that's sort of a
Mhm.
systemic issue, but it
Yeah.
always comes back to our belief system about ourselves and the value of the work we do, and just trusting, like, if I don't believe in myself, if I don't think I'm worth paying this, then why should you?
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
like there's so many ways we trip ourselves up around this.
Right.
So many
Right.
ways. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too is we are afraid people won't like us if we
Yeah.
ask for money. Yeah.
It undervalues the work.
Yeah.
And I, I don't care if you have an insurance-based practice or self-pay or a blend. Like to me, the whole point of an ideal practice is that you are doing your practice is it's ideal for you, whatever that looks
Right.
like.
Yeah.
But even if you've got insurance, so I don't do that. I have a self-pay practice now, but I ran a full, crazy, over-the-top insurance-based practice for 20 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was terrible at it
Mm-hmm.
because there were so many games to play around the insurance. But even if you're going to do that, do it well.
Mm-hmm.
Collect your copays up front, stay on top of it, or hire somebody like Jeremy that you and I both know. Like
Right.
find somebody to do the work for you and make, even if you delegate that work to somebody, it's still your duty as the owner of this company. You are the
Mm-hmm.
CEO of your own show. You have to know what your numbers are and you have to know what your clients owe you. I had a therapist colleague of mine once that was working, her practice was brand new and she was trying to learn all this stuff and figuring it out. And she told me once, I don't really want to know what people owe me because I'm afraid I will resent them and it will impact my work with them.
Mm-hmm.
So she was kind of doing the whole, I don't see it. I don't know this. I don't hear. Now
Right.
she's gotten better. She didn't do that anymore. But for those first couple of years, and I'm like, do you not think they're thinking about it? They
Right.
are.
Mm-hmm.
So treat them with respect and say,
Right.
let's talk about money.
Yeah.
Let's have that
Yeah.
conversation.
And I think too with if you when you move into group practice is having conversations with your clinicians about that issue
Yep.
as well, because a lot of that, depending on how you've got your processes set up. I know in my practice, a lot of times our intake coordinator is not there in the
Mm.
building, and she usually collects, when people come in, but if they're not there, then the therapist needs to collect. And so coaching them through that process about how to do it in a way that
Yes.
they're comfortable with. And,
Yes.
I tell I tell people all the time that, when you're asking for money, a simple way to do this is just simply say to the client, your bill is this amount. How would you like to take care of this?
How would
And
you like
and
to take care of this?
and then just be quiet
Yep.
and don't say anything else. And they will usually offer something, and then you can kind of work your way through that at that point.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. That's great, Gordon. I also have suggested that to people like
Hmm.
that, just that question. How would you like to take care of your copay today?
Yeah.
How would you like to take care of your payment today? Because
Hmm.
there's an assumed answer in there that you are going to take care of it,
Right. Right.
right? There's an assumed
Exactly.
yes.
Exactly.
And do
Exactly.
it at the beginning of the session, not at the
Hmm.
end. Because
Yeah.
by the end, you're into all the emotional stuff, and you've already got other things to deal with at that point. So
Yeah.
get it out. And I used to say, let's get the red tape out of the way first. How would you like to pay today? I
Hmm.
would do that as soon as they walked in and sat down.
Yeah.
You also you said, so sometimes your intake coordinator collects payment, but sometimes
Hmm.
your clinicians do. Do you find that that's hard for them to actually handle money, whether it's digital or whether it's somebody handing them a check? Do they struggle with that at all?
Well, what again, one of the things too, you're going back to the systems and processes that you have in place
Yeah.
is the majority of our clients, we have a credit card on file. So,
Yep.
I mean, that
Yep.
makes it easy for the clinician, and all you have to say is, "I'll add your copay to the card you have on file."
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
And somewhere along the way, that card won't work anymore,
Yeah.
or something
Yep.
goes
Yep.
wrong, and you
And
have
then
to have
you have to have that conversation as well.
right.
So, but yeah, but
I'll
it's,
tell you a funny.
yeah,
Let me
yeah.
tell you a funny story about this. The reason I asked that question is because when I started my practice back in the day, I had come from a residential treatment center where I was the director of family therapy, and somebody else dealt with that business stuff, and I didn't care about any of that. I just wanted
Hmm.
to help those kids, right?
Right.
So I took that attitude with me into private practice, and it was just me in the beginning. And when people would say to me, like, "How do I pay you today?" They would ask me, "How do I pay you?" And I'd be like, you know, just drop it in that box at the end of the hall. Like I had a little wooden box nailed to the wall with a slit in the top. And I would say, on your way out, just drop what you, and they was, well, what do I owe you? I don't really know. I haven't got that figured out yet. Just whatever you think is best. I
Mm.
literally did not want to touch a check or cash.
Hmm.
And you know what I did at the end of the day? I ran into that box and opened the lid to see how much money I had in there.
All right.
Terrible, terrible way to start a
Yeah.
business. But
Right.
I mean, that was a very long time ago. I'm not that person
Hmm.
today, but
Yeah.
it hurts my heart and also cracks me up to think about that, which is why I'm so tuned into this with people today because
Sure.
there's
Yeah.
lots of ways we do that same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, Wendy, I guess we need to be respectful of each other's time. And I know we could spend all day talking about all these things. And I'm really grateful to you for the work that you're doing. So tell folks how they can get in touch with you. And you said you had a freebie for people that if they're interested in it.
If it's okay with, it's not a freebie. It's actually
Oh,
a little paid course, but
oh, okay. Okay.
it's
Good.
little.
Good.
So sort of modeling what I teach here. So
Yes. Yes.
because mindset is such a big deal, I actually have it's a sweet little mindset course. It's called Mind Over Money.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is every day you get a little bit of inspiration, a little lesson in your inbox. It takes 5 minutes to either read it or I've got it on audio if you want to hear it. It's great to do while you're walking the dog in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes worth of just a shift in perspective about how to think about abundance.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a daily drop of that.
Okay.
Normally it's $97, but for your listeners in particular, if they go to that when they register and use the promo code Gordon,
Okay.
they will get $50 off of that. So it's just $47.
Okay.
The way you get that is go to my website, wendypittsreeves.com/mind, because it's mind over money,
Mm-hmm.
/mind, and use the promo code Gordon to get it basically half price,
Awesome.
$47.
Awesome.
And people like it. I have people tell me they hate it when it ends because it becomes kind of like a daily meditation almost in a way.
Right. Right. Yeah, that sounds great. And we'll have links in the show notes and the show summary for people to access it
Thank you.
easily.
Thank you for
So,
that.
yeah. So check it out, folks. And Wendy, I'm sure we will be having more conversations in the future and
I hope
sharing with
so.
all the listeners.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Yeah.
Gordon. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you.